Hello and welcome to this video on secure file transfer. So we'll transfer files between client and server or between local and remote. So in previous video, we have learned about SSH, so how to create a secure shell to connect to another remote server. But now it's time to go into transferring files. So transfer files, client to server or back. So we have SCP for secure copy between client and server. So remember, we have the CP command for copy, but when you're copying between different machines, then you will want to use SCP instead because it leverages H, so you have encryption when you're copying files. And also, you have SFTP for interactive sessions between server and client. So we will go through these two commands and go in, not in very detail, but we will go into these commands. So these commands, they use SSH. So you have transfer or sessions also possible between different servers and or several remote machines. So it's possible you don't need to just have a local to a remote server. It could have several remote servers connecting to each other. That is also possible. But I won't show that in this video, maybe in the future video. So SCP, they are for one-shot transfers. And what this means is that you have, for example, you have this syntax here, your SCP, and then you add the options with a flag, and then you use the source to the destination. So what this means, for example, you want to push a file. That means you take a local file, so SCP local file, and then you have so this is the source, the local file is the source, and the destination is here the remote server. So user at remote, colon, and then you put in the path there, wherever you want to place the file. So you specify that after the colon. And if you want to do pull, that means you want to take some file from your remote server to your local. Then you turn them around basically. So you just flip them. So you have your user at remote, colon, the path to the file, and then you have a space and your local path so that you save it in your local path. So I'll show both of these with a few examples. So then we have SFTP, and what this is, it's session-based file management. Okay, so before we have SCP, it's for one-time transfer, so it's one-shot transfer, and now you have session-based. So that you have a syntax here that looks like this, SFTP, and then you do the user at remote. And when you do that, you can do navigation both in your remote machine and in your local machine. So in the remote, it will look like this. You just have your normal navigation commands. You can do cd, pwd, ls, etc. And you can do whatever you can do in your local machine normally using a shell, using bash. But if you want to access your local machine, and then you will have L before each command. So for example, lcd instead of cd, lpwd instead of pwd, and lls instead of ls, okay? So if you want to download files, you use the get command. And if you want to upload files, you use the put command. So these are just a few commands to put in mind. Okay, so now I am in my Oracle Linux machine, and I also have my downloads folder opened in my Linux machine. It could be any other folders, but I chose the downloads folder here. And we have the downloads folder open in my local machine, which is my Mac here. So starting with my local machine, you can see ls here. I have one folder, Linux Fundamental Course. So if I do ls Linux Fundamental Course, I have a lot of folders here. Okay. So this is the course that I'm developing. It's not finished yet, but I want to, for example, I want to transfer it to this machine to see how that will work. So starting with, remember that we have already configured SSH with passwordless SSH. So we can do SCP. We can do SSH, the remote, the username at remote. So now I want to, for example, I want to start with a file. So we'll touch client file 1.txt. I can actually do like this. I will do brace expansion, client file, or actually I can do it like this. Brace expansion like this, client file 1.2.txt or 1.2.4.txt. And what we have here, we have client file 1.2.3.4.txt. I can say echo hello file 1. And then I will put it into client file 1.txt. This is just a few examples. You could create these files. If you're using Windows, you could use git bash to have the same commands as I have in my Mac. Since in Mac it's Unix based, I have most of the commands that I have in my Linux machine. Not always the same, but no matter, it's time to transfer these files. So what I want to do is SCP, so secure copy. I want to do client file 1.txt, and I want to move them to Quokka at Oracle home, where I want to place it, /. And if I do like this, fail to upload file. Okay, maybe it's actually like this. If I open up my terminal, I will show. So if I open the terminal here, cd downloads, and I do pwd, you can see it's /home /coction /downloads, okay? /home coction /downloads. And it worked. You can see the file is here. We have client 1.file. So if I do cat client file 1.txt, and you can see hello file 1. So very cool. I transferred that file, or I copied that file from my local machine to my remote machine, to my server. Okay, very cool. And if I do ls, you can see the file is still here. So I have copied the file. What if I want to copy all these files? I can use globbing. So I could do similar like before, just do up here. And instead of just writing SCP client file 1, I could do SCP client file star.txt, and then I click enter and I transfer all these 4 files there. And if I do ls here, you can see I have all these 4 files. So very cool. What if I want to copy my folder? Yeah, I can do that as well. So ls, my folder is here, Linux Fundamentals course. I can do up here, and instead of this client file.txt, I will change that one to -r. And then I will want to, so -r is for copying directories. So I want to copy my Linux Fundamentals course. Let's see if I have course and then space. This is my remote machine. And you can see I transfer all these files. So if I clear this one, you can see here, ls, I have my Linux Fundamentals course. ls Linux fundamentals course. I have a lot of things there. I can do 3 Linux fundamentals course. And you can see all these files have been transferred over. Very cool. Okay, so how about if I want to transfer something from my Linux machine, my server, to my client, or my remote to my local, okay? So, for example here, let me just open the terminal, and I will do make dir remote dir. I will call it remote dir. And I will move all my client files into my remote dir, basically. So I want to do env client file star into my remote dir. Okay, so I move them all into my remote dir. So if I ls remote dir, you can see all my client files are there. Also, I can just touch another file to remote dir cool x.md, for example. Let me see. Misspelled touch. Okay. So ls remote dir, it looks like this. So if I want to copy my remote dir into my local, I can do that. So I want to do SCP. And here I want to do -r. R is for recursive, so that you can take folders or directories. So the directory is called remote. Let's see, I want to take from so I want to go into Coction at Oracle YT for YouTube, :/home/Coction/ let's see, downloads. Let's see, what's remote dir? Oh, look, they have even, if I do RE and then tab, you can see it's actually having autocomplete. So very cool. So I want to move this directory or copy this directory into my local. So where do I want to place it? I want to place it in this current directory. So I just do dot. So this is where I am, right? So if I do that, let's see, ls, and I have this remote dir, and I can ls my remote dir, and you can see these are all the files that I have. I have here client file 1, 2, 3, 4, and cooltext.nd. And if I do ls, I still have my local files here. So this is how you use SCP for copying files between remote and local. You could as easily do this for different remote servers, so that's also possible. But now let's move on to SFTP. So we'll start with SFTP and then Coction at Oracle YT. And we have connected to Oracle YouTube or Oracle YT, this machine. So I can do ls, and now this is my machine there. So who am I? Actually, I cannot do that. ls, I want to go into cd downloads. Oh yeah, I cannot autocomplete it. Downloads, ls, and you can see I have Linux fundamental course, mobydick.txt, and remote dir. So if you take a look here, these are exactly the files that I have. But what if I want to check how I have in my local machine? I can do lls. This is what I have in my local machine. So I want to move this mobydick.txt to my local machine, for example. So then I can do get. So get the files from remote to local. So get mobydick.txt. I want to get it. And then if I do LLS, now you can see I have Moby Dick in this particular folder. Cool. So if I do cat Moby Dick, actually lcat Moby Dick.txt, I cannot use this command. Okay, so this is how you download the files from remote to local. But if I want to do that and I want to download, for example, a folder now, so I will do I want to create a folder here, make their new remote folder, and I want to move Moby Dick into this new remote folder. And I want to copy that folder into my local machine. So a new remote folder from my server into my local, or my remote into my local. I can do get -r new remote folder. And here you can see if I do LLS, I have new remote folder here. Very cool. What if I want to change name of a file when I move it? I can do like this, for example, touch cool file, and I want to move the cool file, or I want to copy the cool file. I do mget, so mget cool file, and I want to do cooler.txt, for example. And now if I do LLS, I have this cooler.txt. So it has changed the name. It has copied over, or it has pulled the file, and then it has changed the name. So very cool. How about if I want to upload the file? I can do that as well. So for example, now I want to remove this Linux fundamentals course, rm-r Linux fundamentals course. I want to put -r for the directory. So Linux _fundamentals course. And I copied the whole folder over there. You can see everything is here. Yeah, so it's similar. I can do, if I do LLS here, I have client file 1.txt. I could move it, I could copy it, push it over and change the name. So I can do input client file 1.client file 1.txt. So LLS, you see all my client file here, or all my client file, cooler.txt, mobydick.txt, etc. So I'll move all of them. So I will do put star.txt. So this is globbing. Yeah, I'll just do that. And I moved all these in here. That is very cool. Okay, and when I want to quit this, I just click bye to end the session. Okay, cool. So in this video, you have seen both SCP for one-time transfer, and then you have seen SFTP for creating an interactive session. These are ways to securely transfer files between different machines, and it's really useful. So thank you for watching this video and hope that you learned a lot, and see you in the next one. Bye.